Hello, welcome back again in this series of Excel beginners training. For today, we are going to be looking at how to rearrange columns in a particular, maybe just rearrange columns, yeah, in a particular worksheet, and also how to move data from one worksheet, a workbook to another workbook. So let's dive in. So this is the workbook that we have. This workbook only has one sheet, and this is the last workbook we used. We are going to open another one, the one we just used today too, titled basics here. Okay, yeah, this is another workbook having only one sheet again. Now I'm going to create another sheet in this workbook, right? I'm going to do that. So it's title sheet 2. I can decide to rename this with students. I can decide to rename that with students, and I hit enter. It takes that shape, or it takes the name. Now I come here, I am interested in moving this particular data. I can decide to copy, I can decide to cut. So let me try cutting. Control A to select everything, and I cut. I can come here and I do Control V. It drops it here. If I go here, it has disappeared. That's cutting. So because it moved it, so it has disappeared. If I don't save this, if I save this table now, it becomes an empty workbook. If I save this like this, it's going to be, this workbook is going to become an empty workbook because nothing is in any of the cells. Right? So, but that's that. We can also Control C after selecting all and go and paste. So it copies, it keeps a copy here and then also drops another copy here. Right? But we are not going to be using this sheet for now again. We are only going to focus on here. So let's rearrange this, and let's make all of them have borders, right? So now let's zoom in. The intent of this recording or this lesson is to move cells. Remember that we have talked about how to insert. So let's assume that we don't want our science subjects to be the first. Let's assume we want to prioritize these art subjects, right? So what do? Possibly history, geography, literature. Let's just find a way to fine-tune some of these things. So I'm not an art student and I don't want to have this course coming before this. I prioritize this. Let me assume economics and literature before any of this other one. I think I need to move history, but maybe later. Now what do? I can click on Control X, which is cut. Remember, I selected the column. Control X, which is cut, and I'm going to come just on this column physics because I know it's going to add it just before this column. So as I selected this column now, I'm going to click on insert. Now look at it. Maths, English, economics, literature, physics, chemistry, biology, history. It has moved the economics and literature from this particular point after history down to this point. So that's how to reshuffle what do you call it, reshuffle columns. So you can decide to move a column to anywhere you want to move it to. So just like maybe I'm not satisfied, I want to move history down to here. So I'm going to, I can either move history here or I can move all these ones down here. So let me just move physics, chemistry, biology, and I'm going to Control X, which is to cut, and I'm going to just drop it in front of geography. Right? Look at it. Maths, English, economics, literature, history. All the arts courses have entered. Now, chemistry, biology, geography. Do you get it? So, okay, now physics, chemistry, biology, geography. So that's that. It's quite easy to move around. So, and that's that. I think with this we have closed out on this our lesson. Remember, we said we want to understand how to organize and manage multiple worksheets within a workbook. Now, what do we really want to understand how to do? Now, first of all, to rename, right? To move, to copy, and link sheets for better data organization. Now, let's try to achieve this. Now, remember what we did is copy, the type of copy, but it's a copying a table from one worksheet to another. Now, let's try to achieve what is stated here. To rename, let's do that first. Rename, I can call this one primary. That's how to rename. You just double click on the name, right? Double click on the worksheet name. Now it's highlighted, you can rename. Remember we renamed this to get whatever we wanted. We called these students. Now, when you want to move, or when you want to move a worksheet, for the sake of that, I'm going to open up this sheet I told us that we're not going to be using again. Student scores. Remember I didn't save, so that's why this is still here. Now let's assume I want to move this. I will right click on this worksheet name. Right now, see move or copy. It's actually the same thing. The only difference is that if you want to move it, you don't select this, but if you want to copy, you will select this, right? So let me select this because I want to create a copy, and I'm saying student scores, that's this title. Now where do I move it to which book? I'm going to open up, these are the things that are open in my sheet, so but I'm moving it to basic, and I'm literally going to drop it to at the end of every other thing. Now before I click on OK, remember this our basic, see our basic sheets. Okay, because this dialog box is not agreeing to pop up, but in our basic we only have primary and then students. But by the time I now move this, okay, this student scores comes here, making this thing 3 worksheets. I'm going to delete this. Remember I copied, so deleting, look at it here, I can delete, so that's gone. Now if I want to move for it to disappear from here, I can the same process. Sorry, this I clicked on the wrong thing. I can where is it, move or copy, and then I'm not going to tick this again, and I'm going to tell it move it to basics, move to the end, and I'm going to click OK. Now return back to the previous sheet. In fact, the sheet is no longer existing because it has taken everything that is in the sheet into this new one, so the sheet does not have any reason to exist again, so it automatically closed it out as being empty. Do you understand? And then move the data here. Now, but you know that I already have this data here as students, but now let me see if I want to rename. I can double click on the worksheet name, right? Or I can also right click on the worksheet name and then I click on rename. If I want to delete, the same process, I click on delete. So that's for now. So these are everything you need to know around this managing data. I'm going to implore, if you have any concerns, if you have any questions, always feel free to ask. You can ask on our YouTube channel, we are going to answer it there. You can ask us on WhatsApp, we will answer. Wherever you meet this video, if you ask us, we are going to give you clarity. Thank you. Do have a nice time and see you in the next one.